Hi everybody, Clark Smith here, winemaker for WineSmith, and today I'm going to make a special dish that's specifically designed to go with Bordeaux. It's called Tournedos Chateau Figeac. And I'm going to pair it with my Bordeaux-style Zinfandel. It's a lot different than most Zinfandels. I think most Zinfandels should be put in a Burgundy bottle because it's an explosion of fruit and it doesn't behave itself very much in terms of texture. But this one from Dry Creek, the grist vineyard, really has a lot of style to it, and it's not an explosive fruit bomb, but it does have a great deal of grace and I think longevity potential, and that's what Bordeaux is all about. So Tournedo is just another name for a filet mignon, and here we got a couple of beauties here. These are about 12 ounces a piece. And the dish is fairly simple. We're just gonna grill those in the air fryer, as you've seen me do so many times. And then we're gonna pour bearnaise sauce over them. And then on top of that, we're gonna have an artichoke heart. And sitting in the artichoke, we will have a piece of truffle. So we're gonna talk a little about truffles, the ins and outs of truffles. And then I'm going to, since I have all this bearnaise sauce, we'll take the rest of the artichoke and we'll arrange that as a dipping sauce, and we'll also put some asparagus alongside and pour some bearnaise sauce over that too, and that's the whole dish. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is get that artichoke cooking. Now I've already sheared off the top here and pulled the small leaves in the bottom here, which are bitter. By the way, people don't know that the stem of an artichoke is just like the cap. It's quite delicious, and we won't be throwing it away. So this is pretty simple. We just put it in the Instant Pot with, I've already got a 1.5 cups of water in there, and then we'll simply turn it on to pressure cook for 20 minutes on high, and that's it. So that'll just start itself up. We want to make sure that we have the vent sealed here, and then away it goes. So while we're doing that, I think, although it'll be the last thing we do, I'm going to go ahead and prep the asparagus. Now, I wanted to show you, when you go into the store and they have asparagus on sale, which they do right now, they're going to give you this great big bundle of asparagus. You don't have to buy all of it. So this is what I do. I take what I want and leave the rest behind. Now, and here's what you do with asparagus. It's got a woody end that you can't really chew, and you just break it, and it'll naturally break where at the end of that woody end. You can sort of see it here. And there you go. It just naturally snaps right where it should. I'm going to go in a bamboo steamer here with these guys, partly just because they fit. And these just need to steam for about 6 minutes once the boil comes. We'll do that right at the end. You can also make wonderful grilled asparagus in your air fryer. So let's get these fillets going. You've seen me prepare steak before. There's really nothing to it. I am crazy about Laurie's garlic salt. So I'm going to sprinkle that on there fairly generously on both sides with a little crushed pepper. And always great to have a good pepper grinder. I'll put the brand of that one in the notes, and also recommend that you get one, a white one, so you can grind your salt fresh. It makes an amazing difference. So, go. I'm just going to set this all the way at 400 because this is not a very fatty piece of meat. Just pop them in there. These are pretty thick. I like them medium rare, but they're pretty thick, so I'm going to go for the full 15 minutes on these. Isn't that wonderful? Perfect steak in 15 minutes. Now let me describe the rest of these ingredients here. To begin with, we've got 8 ounces of Kerrygold pure Irish butter. I love this stuff, and partly because it is completely grass-fed. Most grass-fed beef in the United States is finished off with corn. They can't do that in Ireland because there isn't any corn. You can't grow corn in Ireland. I've been there. I've seen it. There's no corn. So you can get this stuff at Costco. It's easy to find, and I think it really is a good, healthy butter with a whole lot of alpha omega acids. So we're just going to bring that to room temperature, and we've already done that to make our bearnaise. Now the other things that will go in are tarragon. This is what tarragon looks like. Use fresh tarragon if you can. If you can't, you can buy tarragon vinegar on Amazon. A lot of different types of it. And that's about how much we need for this 8 ounces of butter here. And then I've chopped up shallot pretty fine. And that's ready to go. I have 3 eggs. I'm just going to use the yolks. And then at the end, I'm going to take some mint. All of these ingredients are going to be put into a vinegar reduction sauce. I've got a real nice Italian white vinegar here, but there's you could use champagne vinegar or white wine vinegar. It would work fine. We're going to reduce it, so that'll increase its acidity. We're going to do that in a pan here. So I'll go ahead and set that up. Take a half a cup, and then we're going to reduce it to a quarter cup just by boiling it. Doesn't take very long, 2-3 minutes once we got it up to the boil. Put that in there, but I'm not going to get things started until we're ready to make the bearnaise, which will be after we get the steaks out and they're resting. So there we go, and I'll just be ready to put that on the stove and reduce it down. Now let's talk about truffles. This here is a fresh black truffle. Now, truffles are legendary for having this wonderful sexy aroma, and this one certainly does. But that's 23 grams. It's about 3/4 of an ounce of truffle, and it cost me $50. So it's not easy to find a fresh truffle, and they have to be fresh. This wonderful aroma doesn't last very long, and so that's kind of the A way to go. But that works out to $1,000 a pound. So it's kind of crazy. And what we're going to do is just make some slices of this thing. And we're just going to lay those in the cup of the artichoke. Now, there's a way cheaper way to do this. There's an outfit online called Marky's, and Marky's sells all kinds of truffles, but if you read what they say, none of them have any flavor. So here's $11, 2 nice fat truffles in olive oil. These have no aroma no flavor. So what you want to do is buy the cheapest truffle you can lay your hands on, and this is the cheapest one. $11 for a fairly generous amount of truffle, and they're also kind of hydrated. And this is just going to sit there in that artichoke heart. What we're going to use for the flavor is this truffle oil. This is black truffle oil from it's Terroir d'Antin. And this has a wonderful truffle aroma. I think even more than the fresh truffle I'm paying $1,000 a pound for. We're gonna dribble a little of that over these tasteless truffles here, and that combination will give us what we want. Okay. Look at that. Take that beauty out of there and plate it right here. We put the asparagus alongside there. Okay, now we're ready to okay, now while that rests, we're gonna peel this artichoke. I've let it cool down a little bit so I don't burn my fingers, and then I'm just gonna peel it, because each one of these leaves has a little meat right there that you can dip into the bearnaise sauce. And we'll just array these all around.
I hit cancel.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the cap, and that's what we're going to crown our Tournedo with. But we have goodies here that we can have a little fun with. So I'm going to slice this base off. And then, like I said, this is still good eating. And so we'll have a little bit of fun with that. Just stick that right in here in the bowl to encourage people to have it. And then we'll put this little flower, which has lots of delectable meat, and we'll just kind of put that off to the side there for fun. So this was what we wanted, was the artichoke heart itself. All right, now let's make some bearnaise. And we can go ahead and put this truffle, why don't we just for fun put these bland, tasteless truffles here, and we'll put a little truffle oil on them. And then we'll put these fresh truffles that they can just pick right out, and you can just eat those raw. Now this wonderful oil will save pretty well if you keep it in a cool, dry place. Great, so now that's ready to go. Let's make a bearnaise sauce. That involves heat this vinegar until it boils, and then we'll reduce it down. And then let's see how our reduction is doing. Yeah, so that looks just about right. So we've cut this down. Started with a half a cup, and then plus the vegetables, and we're down to a quarter of a cup. That's just what we want. Okay, so let's make this thing. And now we're going to put in 3 eggs, just the yolk. So vegetables in there. And now I'm going to toss in the mint. Which I didn't cook. And now we're going to take advantage of the fact that the butter is already an emulsion. So we're going to put it in there, a tablespoon at a time. I'm going to go ahead and plate the asparagus. And that's it. So now, and then we put the rest in that cup. Now we've got a little left over. We can store this in the fridge and just warm it very carefully with some warm water, and that'll be great tomorrow. So then here's our crown, and that is Tournedos Figeac. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. The first thing I'm going to do is just unload this over there so I can get a slice of this steak. Look at that. Just the way I like it. And we'll get a little string around here and pull it up. So let's see what we have. So this is much richer and more savory than a hollandaise. So you have a really classic perfumey nose here with a lot of violets and deep sort of blue fruit. Not so much of you have a little bit of raspberry. And the texture is just sublime. It's so it's firm but silky. It's amazing. So let's see how these little guys fare. It really isn't fair because this darn thing is soaked in truffle oil. Interesting thing about artichokes is that they make whatever wine you have afterwards, they make it sweet. Yeah, it's kind of like an after image. So there's a lot more fruit in that thing. Do the artichoke in that. Let me just. Man, there's nothing sexier than a fresh truffle. Okay, simple, easy, gluten-free, totally keto friendly. There's not a carbohydrate in this whole thing. Celebrate a special occasion for not really a lot of money and not a lot of effort.